Hi, I'm Larry Puckett, the DCC guy. Today we're going to follow up with the installation of the Blunami decoder that I did in the last video. And I checked it out. It's working great, no problems at all. So we're not going to have any issues with testing it with their new Blunami app. And this is what the screen actually looks like. So I'll be showing you how it works on my iPad. But I borrowed my wife's iPhone 7 and installed the app on it. It works great on the iPhone 7, and I'll show you that here in just a second. But for the most part, I'm going to be using this iPad version because it's big enough that you can see a lot better what I'm doing. Okay, here we go. I've got the locomotive set up on one of the tracks here in Monroe Yard on the Piedmont Southern. So let's go ahead and take a look at how this app works. Let me move it in here and I'll bring it up real quick. Tap on the app and it comes up looking like that. Let me see if I can get rid of the shadows. And you can see it's already connected to the locomotive and asking me if I want to disconnect. So I'm going to click on Standard Operations right here. And you can see this is what comes up. It's the virtual control for the locomotive. Let me move it over so you can see the loco. Okay, so right up front here on the display, you can see we've got a control button for the headlights. We've got a control button for the bell. We've got one for the long air horn and one for a short air horn. We have a loco stop and a stop all. And we've got the forward and reverse. I'm going to put it in forward and show you. Listen to the bell. And we'll listen to the horn real quick. So, it sounds fine. Let's give it a run. Let me bring it back in reverse. And bring it back up. There we go. So you can see it's working fine with the app. No problems at all here. The nice thing, you've got access to all of the 28 functions. You can access 1 through 14, the headlight, the bell, the horn, etc. Click over here and you've got access to the other 15 through 28 functions. So it gives you direct access to all of the NMRA functions on here. I'm going to move it back to 1 through 14 again. And it's that fast. You can just flip it right out there and you're ready to go. And nice fast response. And that's how it works with the iPhone. Now I'm going to turn this off and give it back to my wife so that in case somebody calls, she can answer the phone. Okay, so this is the iPad version, just looks almost identical to the one on the iPhone. So as you can see or hear, it's got the same functions out here. That's just a one-shot deal. That gives you the playable air horn like you would get on a regular throttle. Lighting control right here. See, the lights are on, so you get a visible feedback as to when it's on and off. And then, of course, here you've got your large throttle, and you can see the loco move. We'll bring it back here. There we go. Bring it forward again. And one of the nice features about this is that you can bring out the expanded display. So you can see I've got my Mars light marked here. I can tap that and it can be on or off. So I can turn that back on, and I don't know if you can see it, but you can see the flash on my fingers. So it allows you to control the Mars light separately using F28. And this is one of those screens, the setup screen, that allows you to do that. You can see right here it says use F28 to control the reverse light. You can turn it off and on, and you can control whatever lights you've got attached to the reverse headlight, the yellow wire. So that gives you a nice capability. This page right here is basically the programming page, or the settings as they call it. So you can see we've got our Blunami version 1.0. Its DCC address is 2803, and it's using the extended address, the 4-digit address. You can go down here and select the type of locomotive decoder that you're using. This is the diesel EMD version of this Blunami decoder. The sound settings, you can go in here, you can set your master volume. And this is one of the important things about the Blunami decoder and the Blunami app. You can do all your programming right here. You don't need a DCC system. You don't need Decoder Pro. You can simply use this to do all your programming, and it programs the decoder right there. So you've got a slider to control your master volume. And as you could hear, it was totally interactive. I can cut the volume out, I can bring it back up, and decide what level I want to leave it at. Same thing with the main sounds here. So the main sounds, we've got the type of prime mover. I'm using this one here. We can set the volume, the reverb, the pitch of that prime mover. You can set the type of notch rate you want. I'm going to stick with 7 steps. We can go down here, we can select our bell. You can see it's already set for an EMD2, but there's just tons of bells in here to listen to. The horn, I missed that. I've got it set for a Nathan M5 because that's what I'm going to be installing on this locomotive as soon as I get a chance. We've got some cab chatter going on in the background there, so just ignore that. But basically you can just scroll through your various horns, Nathan M5, M3, P3, all kinds of these various horns that are available. Let's go down here, we can look at the types of air compressors available here. We'll stick with the EMD. Go down to our coupler. I'm going to stick with a medium coupler. And with all of these, you can change things like the rates, the reverb, the volume. So you've got all kinds of features here. And this, the great thing about this, it is a really nice visual graphical interface for you. So you don't have to worry about wading through Decoder Pro or wading through a lot of the manual in order to figure out how to do this programming. It's right here for you. Other sounds. Let's see what else is in here. We've got our dynamic brake, radiator fans, bells, all kinds of things. It's all in here for you. So you can just scroll through here and pick and choose what you want to keep. Reverb, equalizer. Okay, here's the equalizer. Since I used Sugar Cube speakers, I wanted to set that equalizer presets for the type of speaker. So you can see you can go with the flat, micro, small, all of these different functions available. And it is very important that you do that because it does make a big difference in the quality of the sound you get. Alternate sound mixer, you can use that. A lot of things in here for alternate sounds. And why would you want an alternate sound setup? That allows you to use one set of sounds, for example, at clubs where it might be a noisy environment, and then have your normal sound volumes for your home layout where it's much quieter. So that's what that is. I like to use that. And automatic sound control down here at the bottom for setting up your bell and your brake squeal, that kind of thing. I don't like the bell popping off automatically, but I do like my auto brake squeal enabled. Okay, so that's that one. Those are all the settings. Now, one other thing we can go through here, so that was just the sound settings. There's a number of settings you can set up for your headlights. So you can see here, I've got my headlight set up for auto dimming and reverse. I've got it active, various other features. it should be set up for an LED here. So I just changed it to an LED to accommodate the fact that I did install the LEDs. And so you've got brightness settings, headlight settings, backup light settings. So as I said, I used the yellow wire for my Mars light. So I set it up as a Mars light. I can change things as far as controlling that. And then you've got the other FX settings, 3, 4, 5, and 6, for other lights that you might install. You might have ditch lights, you might have a beacon, any number of things that you could install lights with. You could use these other settings here. And then we've got other settings down here. So you've got your hyperlight flash rate that controls the Mars light and how fast it's flashing. A lower value is a faster rate, I believe. So those are some of the other things we can do. Various speed settings. You can do your 3-point speed table, 28-point, and tuning the back EMF. There's so much in here that it would take a month of Sundays to go through all of it, much less get to where you'd use it all. And then if you have certain functions that you want to program specifically, you might need to use your CVs, your individual CVs. For example, there is not a function mapping page here in the app. So if you want to change some of the function maps settings, you'll have to use the CV settings to do that. But you can see, you can change them, and you can actually read what a value is in one, write a value. You can read all the CVs. One of the neat things, there are hundreds of CVs in here. It takes about 4 or 5 seconds for the app to read all of those CV settings from the decoder. Let's go back here. Okay, finally, consist functions. Now, the thing about consisting with this is you have to remember, in order for this app to control a locomotive, it has to be a Blunami decoder because it has to have that Bluetooth function capability. So you can only use Blunami decoders with this app. That means you can only consist Blunami decoder-equipped locomotives using the app. Now you can still use this Blunami decoder as a standard Tsunami 2. It works fine and will consist with your other Tsunami decoders on a DCC powered and controlled track. But if you're going to be operating on a DC powered track or operating your locomotives with a battery, then you need to use the built-in consisting capability here in the app itself. And it's more or less like universal consisting in that everything is stored in the app and accessed in the app. So that's something you need to be aware of, that it's all based on what goes on here in the app as far as consisting. And since I only have one Blunami equipped locomotive, I haven't been able to test out consisting, but I will tell you that George Bogatuk has done a consisting video, and it's on the SoundTraxx YouTube channel. So take a look at that if you're interested in how consisting works with this. And I'll also point out while I'm at it that George and the crew there at SoundTraxx will be doing a whole slew of videos on the Blunami and the Blunami app and the like. And I'll give you some links to other sites that you can go to for information on the Blunami app. Okay, let's look at the lead functions. I can't go through them all, but you can decide here whether or not a function is actually going to work when it's in a consist, okay? So you can turn these on or off just by clicking them and determine which functions are going to operate. And that works for your various locomotives, whether they be the lead, the rear, or locomotives in the middle. Now, you can also go over here to dynamic digital exhaust, and it will do auto calibration. That's a great thing to have. Then there are various other connection settings for the app. When it initially opens up, it looks to see if there are locomotives available on the layout and to connect to. So you can go with various options here on that. You can also select directional lighting or not. So again, there's just a lot of things built in here that make it so much easier to program these locomotives. Let's go ahead then. I think that's just about, oh, let's take a look at this. Now, this is the little pull-out menu that allows you to control functions 1 through 14. So we've got the headlight, the bell, so that's F0, F1, F2, F3, etc., right on down through F14. And then if you hit right here, it switches to F15 through 28. So you have direct access to all of these functions here. And I can control my Mars light here. I can turn on the handbrake, turn that off, various other aspects of this. Now, what if you change this? What if you go in and you change a function using function mapping? Well, here's a little thing that I discovered that's kind of neat. Go like this. And at this point, I could change that to whatever else it could be. I'm just going to keep it as handbrake though. But what I will do, handbrake, just to show you it's editable. Okay. And you can set it up so that the function toggles on and off, or if it's just a momentary. So you have that capability to set it up so it toggles the handbrake sound on and then back off again. Or it just does it in a burst and that's it. So you can do that with all of these. So you can customize the screen, and then when you're done, you just flip it back out of the way and it's ready to operate again. So there's a lot of things that you can experiment with these. There is so much in here, as I say, it's going to take a while before I have looked at everything and tested it all out. But it really is a neat piece of technology. With that, let's go ahead and we'll give it a test drive here. I've shown you this, just a few back and forth moves. So let's go ahead and I'm going to pull it back and I can throw it in reverse. So I did adjust the volumes a little bit. It sounds pretty much like any of my other Tsunami-equipped locomotives. Let's go ahead and move over to a DC-powered track. Now I've moved the locomotive over to a section of the layout that's under construction. And as you can see, I've just got a 3-foot piece of Atlas Flex track set up here for you, connected with clip leads to my old MRC 260 Tech 4 power pack. So that's all it is. It's going to provide its pulsed DC power to this piece of track, and that's all that's going to be feeding it. So let me go ahead and turn that on. I've already got it set to 50% throttle, and now I'm going to turn the app on. And as soon as the app starts up, the locomotive comes to life. So we're running off of plain old DC power now. So we have the full sound, got the bell working, and again, I'm using my iPad app for this. Let me get it over here, hopefully where I can see it. So we can throw the bell. So this is the playable air horn again. And this is just one short blast. Okay. And now I'm going to reverse the locomotive and we're going to back up a bit. We're forward. And here we go forward. And again, at this point, I'm operating completely off of DC power on the track. So it's just a standard old MRC. And it's telling me right here that we've got 9.8 volts on the track. Okay? So it does have that little feature built in as well. So I'm going to reverse it. We'll back up a bit. So with the Blunami decoder installed in a locomotive, you'll be able to take the locomotive to your local club or a friend's house that is still using DCC, and you'll be able to operate the locomotive there using either one of the throttles at the club, or you can use your app as well. Then you could take it home or to some other friend's layout that's all DC, and you could operate it there using the app. And you can take it to your home and operate it there using your DC power on your truck, or you could put a battery in it and take it and use it somewhere using the battery power. So that's a whole game changer, is how we can operate these Blunami decoder-equipped locomotives. So I hope that answers a lot of the questions that came up in the comments. Now, I will suggest that you do take a look at the description to this video, because I'm going to put in there a link for the BlueRail website, and they're the developers of the Blunami app, and they have some videos on there showing how their product works with Blunami decoders. I think they have one showing a locomotive being operated with a battery, so you might take a look at that. There's also the Dead Rail Installs and the Dead Rail Society websites. Both of those have information about using battery operations. And if you go to the Dead Rail Installs website, they have a special deal going where you can order a Blunami decoder, a battery, connectors, switches, the whole 9 yards, everything that you would need in order to install a battery in a locomotive with a Blunami decoder to get you up and operating quickly. So once again, go to the description for this video and look at those websites, because they all offer a lot of information. Here on YouTube, you have the SoundTraxx YouTube channel. There's also a BlueRail YouTube channel where they have information about this new Blunami technology. So I recommend you take a look at all of that. And again, I will put that also in the description. Have a great week, and we'll see you here on Friday with another bit of new technology, this time something new from DCC Concepts. Bye now.